Okay, here's the one that's been lingering around for so many election cycles I can't count. Certainly, the illegal immigration issues. There's a lot of different techniques to, or approaches towards this, but nothing seems to have been done. Neil, would you address illegal immigration here and what you can do on the federal level?
How much time?
No, let's go 3 minutes on this one.
Sure not 10? I'm for legal immigration in this country. I am not for illegal immigration, and I'm not for amnesty. Let me talk about a couple of points here that I think are relevant. As it relates to illegal immigration, one of the problems that we have is we've incentivized people to stay here illegally and not follow the legal immigration process because it's harder to follow the legal immigration process than to just stay here legally. There's lots of talk, and there's been a tremendous amount of money and work spent on a fence on the border. There is that fence is important, but that fence will not keep people out of this country. We have to deal with the incentives. And ultimately, if we continue to tell people that they can stay here illegally, what we're doing, or we allow amnesty, which by the way is on the agenda for the Democratic Party, what we're doing is we're destroying the rule of law. We're telling people that some of our laws don't matter, and when we say some of our laws don't matter, it creates an incentive to break other laws and wait till they don't matter also. What we need, the way that we're going to deal with this problem is first we have to take away the incentive. We're going to say you can't be here illegal anymore. The second thing that we need to do is we need to reform the legal immigration process so that it's not arbitrary and opaque. I'm not saying we make it easier for people to get here, but what I am, the requirements easier, but what I am saying is that we need to have a transparent process. The other thing that I think is really important is that one of the burdens that we've talked about doing is placing a burden upon employers to require that their employees are here legally. Let me talk about this. This is important. I have no objection to verifying citizenship, but if you've ever participated in or used the E-Verify process, before I can, as an employer, can even verify the first Social Security number, it's 150 pages of union propaganda, and there's right-to-work pamphlets that go along with it. The left has taken a useful tool and co-opted it, and it should not be that way. This is an example of the arbitrary process that's making it more difficult to get reform. We can have a process where people can verify immigration, verify citizenship, and we need to change the incentives so that people can stay here. They can follow the rules and be here legally, whether it's through the green card process or the citizenship process.
In America, we encourage and we endorse illegal immigration. We don't even deport convicted felons. We give benefits. We give free medical care. We give free education, and we provide all of our services in Spanish. Additionally, in Utah, we give in-state tuition to illegal immigrants. Why? Why have we created all of these incentives to be an illegal immigrant? We have a moral problem. We encourage it so that we can have cheap labor and votes. That is wrong, and we need to fix it. The only reason a person should want to come to America is to become an American citizen, to pursue the American dream, and to embrace a nation, again, whose birthright is the greatest source of liberty in the world, the Constitution, and they should learn it. We can fix it by passing laws which eliminate all of these incentives. Imagine if we did that. How much illegal immigration would occur into the United States if the only incentive to come was a patriotic notion of freedom and pursuing the American dream. And then we make them come through legally. Then we can adequately enforce the border. Even if we build a wall, and I support border security, but even if we do it without first eliminating those incentives under the law, we will will never fix it. We've got to eliminate the incentives through our laws and encourage states to help us enforce, knowing that the federal government in and of itself will also enforce. But right now, if a local policeman pulls over an illegal immigrant, do we expect to cover the cost of deportation? That is what we are being asked to do as states. Again, it is flipping the notion of state sovereignty and the proper role of the federal government on its end.
Okay, and a real quick short one. Senator Bennett seems to have a lot of problems because of earmarks, and there's a defense of it and Morgan, with 1 minute, can tell us your sentiments and feelings on earmarks.
Earmarks, as they stand now, are irresponsible and largely 90% unconstitutional. Every earmark should have at least a constitutional nexus. Every earmark should have to go through a committee hearing. Every earmark should be required to disclose who the recipient will be and what it will be used for. Until then, I cannot support the use of earmarks unless they are clearly constitutional. And even then, I think first we must engage in earmark reform, gaining at least a committee hearing for every single earmark that goes through the House.
One of the things the Democrats ran on in 2006 when they first took control of the U.S. House of Representatives was earmark reform. And we actually had a slight reprieve in the number of earmarks. In the most recent session that just finished, we had the second most earmarks that we've ever had in the history of this country. Fundamentally, I think Morgan's right. Earmarks have to stand on their own merits, and today what we're doing is we're using the legislative process to pass bills that either have nothing related to the bill that was passed, or else they're appropriations that can't stand on their own merits, and so the only way for them to get passed is to attach them to something